All right, here's your guide to getting 2 or more distinct characters in the same scene. Can it be done? Yes, sometimes, not always. Let's start. Okay, so the problem is it is hard to generate 2 or more distinct people in an image. Their features may start to merge. For example, if you ask for a picture of an Indian girl and a Japanese girl, both girls will have a mix of Indian and Japanese features. If you ask for a girl in a green dress and one in blue, you'll often get both are in a mix of green and blue together. And then if you see this image on the right, this is supposed to be Muhammad Ali fighting Bruce Lee. You can see they both have kind of a mix of each other's features. Muhammad Ali's features and Bruce Lee's features are kind of on both of their faces. It's obviously clear who each one is supposed to be, but it's not quite what we're looking for yet. So one solution is to put 2 people or some variation very early in your prompt, like 2 actors, 2 strangers, 2 lovers. You can also use two-shot, which is a term from photography and filmmaking, but this is less likely to work. And here's an example. 1980s anime cell of 2 people, Indian princess and blonde female samurai, talking, amazing detail. This is all kind of setting the mood, but here you can see we've got an Indian princess and a blonde samurai. Now the style of their clothing doesn't quite reflect the background. The blonde girl's clothes don't really look samurai-like to me, but that's not terribly surprising. And this is so just adding 2 people can honestly help make distinct characters. Now this one is Midjourney, this one is Niji Journey, but you can see for both of them it makes a difference. This also works with humans and animals. Movie scene where 2 characters are talking, standing next to each other. Tiger character and human, they're both there. You don't have a humanish tiger or a tigerish human. And then here's another example. Things do get more difficult with 3 people, but it's not impossible. Here we have cinematic 35mm film still of 3 people, Freddie Mercury, Kesha, and Megan Thee Stallion, disco dancing in Cosmic Horror, the musical, 1979. Now, I don't think these are the greatest facial likenesses to those 3 people that's ever been done. This doesn't really look like Megan or Freddie or Kesha, but it's at least we're part of the way there, and we can use Insight Face Swap and just merge those images and get a decent looking image of the 3 of them together. I don't know. It'll look a little weird, but it is kind of a weird image prompt, but okay. Another solution is to use multi-prompts. Prompts can be separated by double colons, as we've talked about before. You can use this to add detail and separate your characters. However, multi-prompts can take a lot of time and repetition to get the result you want, especially when you've got more distinct characters. Start with 1 prompt before you move on to multi-prompts. So here we're trying to get an image of a robot and an angel holding hands. We're most of the way there. She doesn't have wings. I think when I made this, we didn't have vary region yet, so what I would probably do is use vary region. Just vary this region by her back and ask for wings and see what the result was there. But you can see more intricate prompts become more difficult. So we've got 2 people holding hands, a cat person with a human body, and an android. Instead, we've got a cat android and this kind of strange-looking woman with white hair that's not quite there. You can use multi-prompts and image prompts to try to get an image. Here we've got 2 people shaking hands. This is our template from the Pink Floyd album. And then we've got a cat person here. We've got a reference image of a cat person and a reference image of an android. And the result is, it's okay. I think it's good. You could just add cat ears to this guy in Photoshop. And then we've got this image, which I kind of like this image, even though it's not what we're looking for. Where we've got this woman on fire. This is But this shows you how you can use multi-prompts and image prompts to get an image. You can also use tried and true templates like romance novel covers, movie stills, movie posters. You can sometimes run into issues with romance tropes. So for example, this image at right, this is supposed to be an image of Jaime Lannister and Brienne of Tarth. It was very, very difficult to make, and it isn't quite there because both Jaime and Brienne should be about the same height. And the thing is, though, that most romance novels don't have a woman in armor. They don't have a woman who's as tall as the man. They don't have a woman who looks particularly butch like Brienne does. So the woman is almost always shorter and paler than the man. So you see that reflected in the result here. And there's certain other problems, like if you follow the line of her arm, her shoulder should be like somewhere right here. There's all sorts of little things like that with AI. But this was actually not made with Midjourney. This was made with Stable Diffusion maybe 6 months ago. So things have improved since then. All right, so here's an example of something where we're taking romance tropes and we're trying to make the image look good and have the two distinct characters. So we've got these characters from a series called A Court of Thorns and Roses. They're named Rhysand and Feyre. So it says Rhysand and Feyre embracing each other in the throne room of the Night Court from A Court of Thorns and Roses. Feyre wearing slinky black gossamer long dress. Rhysand wearing elegant black clothing fit for a high lord. Now, we are maybe cheating a little bit, quote unquote, here, because there is plenty of fan art of Rhysand and Feyre available online for the Midjourney to draw from. But it makes a nice looking image, and if you want to change the look of the faces, you can always use Insight Face Swap to do that. You can also use different tokens, different elements to get different results. So here on the left, we have Billie Holiday and Orson Welles in love in the style of 1940s pulp romance. So even though she's darker skinned than him, and also obviously 1940s romance would not have a white man with a black woman, we still have a pretty good draft of this, and we can use Photoshop to edit out any of the problems with their hands or things like that. And it is in a fairly 1940s pulp style. Now, fun fact is these two actually were an item for a while. I don't know if they were in love, but they definitely were involved. So this is based on real life. And then we've got this image on the right. We changed the tokens a little bit. It says two lovers kissing, Billie Holiday and Orson Welles in love, noir fairy tale, Night City background, in the style of 1940s pulp fiction. And we also have this no for no text words, fonts, and letters. And this creates, even though it's not that different from this one, very different result. So another solution is to use tried and true templates. So this is, instead of romance novels, now we've got action movie scenes, superhero fights, martial art films, and duels. So this is another one where we're trying to make a picture of Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali fighting. Now, this torso to me, even though he's got darker skin, this looks very much like Bruce Lee's torso. And this guy's face looks kind of like Muhammad Ali's face. This guy maybe looks a little bit more like Bruce Lee. So you can see some of the issues. I mean, this one we could just use Insight Face Swap. And so here's an example of martial arts film still of two men fighting. Bruce Lee fighting Muhammad Ali. And here it's almost like they have the exact opposite faces. You've got Muhammad Ali with Bruce Lee's face and Bruce Lee with Muhammad Ali's face. So you can use brackets and parentheticals. These can help make two visually distinct characters. Ceteris paribus, all things being equal, more parentheticals is more distinction, but this may come at a cost. For example, the characters may wear very different outfits that don't match. That's not really the case here. Here they're both shirtless, but sometimes you can have them like one character's dressed for a wedding and the other character is dressed for lying on the couch. So we add more distinction. And then this is a result that looks pretty good, but the faces don't quite look like the characters we want. We might not want to have them wearing boxing gloves because that doesn't quite fit with the martial arts theme, but this is the detailing looks good. They're wearing the same outfits and they've got the right hairstyles, but their faces are not correct. So we can use Insight Face Swap twice to put the two together in Photoshop. So here we've got they both have Bruce Lee's face, and in this one they both have Muhammad Ali's face. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put one image on top of the other on Photoshop, and we're going to use a layer to get rid of one of the faces using a layer mask so that we've got the image where they both have the right faces. And then this is the result. We've got Bruce Lee fighting Muhammad Ali. Is it the picture I would go with? Not necessarily, but I think it's pretty good to be getting on with, and it is it's a good start. Hopefully you wouldn't get in trouble with the estate of either of these people. I'm just showing this for informational purposes, but this is how you can use Insight Face Swap to have the two different characters in the same image. Another solution is to use pan and zoom. The pan and zoom features are a powerful way to add more information to your image. The characters may not really look like they're interacting though, but you can still get two or more characters in the shot. So here we've got an image of a cat, an orange cat, all on his own in this field at night. So we can go to Discord. We've got cat in the meadow. We'll click on this left arrow button, and we can add little girl in the meadow. And we take out all the stuff about the cat. Then we submit. And then the panned image, look, we can see the little girl, and she's looking at the cat. The cat's not really looking at her, obviously, but this is a pretty good start for having having these two in the same image. We can also use zoom. In that case, we're going to click on the custom zoom button. It's going to say zoom out, little girl and cat in a meadow, and we'll keep the aspect ratio at 4:3, and then we'll zoom out two times, which is the maximum you can do. And we've got another image of a little girl in the meadow with a cat. And in this one, he almost seems like he's looking at her. So this is another option. Another option is to reverse engineer what you want using Describe. So I took this image from Unsplash and I described it and ran these descriptions through Midjourney, and I ended up with this as a result. Now this is not so helpful if you want specific images of characters, but it can give you some ideas of how to structure your prompt when you're trying to get an image of those characters. And so if you have a specific set of characters in mind, Describe is iffy at best. So try to add specific details in brackets or parentheticals. You can also use the repeat tag to get a large number of images in a short time. This is kind of like using the curly brackets to get variations of your prompt, but it'll just repeat the same exact prompt however many times. So this works with fast and turbo modes. And remember, if you're going to use repeat, do not use, don't specify the seed, because then you'll just get the same images repeated like 5 different times. But let's say you want a picture of a blonde woman, a black woman, and 2 Asian women. You can add those details and add some parentheticals. It's not, I don't think it quite got it in any of these. I think this one looks like it pretty much got it. Here's a blonde woman, here's 2 Asian women, one of which is blonde, and here's a black woman. But this is, you are now closer to getting the image that you wanted. So that's useful. You can also try other image-to-text tools like Gina.ai, which is probably the best one on the market. It's not free, but it is pretty cheap, and it's very good at what it does. And there's also Clip Interrogator, and you can access it using this tinyurl.com/clipint2, that's CLIPINT2, and that is a very good thing. You can also run Clip Interrogator on Google Colab, but if you don't want to mess with all that, you don't have to. but you can use these to get descriptions of your images and then kind of reverse engineer them. Another solution is to use very subtle and merge images together. If all else fails, make variations of your images using the very subtle buttons and then merge these images together in Photoshop and Procreate using layer masks, kind of the way we did with this Lee Ali fight image. Okay. So that is the end of the course, guys. Thank you for sticking with me the whole time. Congratulations, you have made it. And you can have, as a reward, you can have a slice of this absolutely 0-calorie, non-existent chocolate cake. It looks so good right now. Of course I had to make this on a day where I was fasting, but c'est la vie. Okay, I am thrilled to have you along for the ride. Please leave some feedback in Slack or via email, and I love hearing from you guys. You can always contact me at authorx@authorx.com, and I will see you in the next one. So thank you for joining this course, and if you've got any feedback for me, please send me a note, send me an email, and I'd be happy to talk to you, more than happy. So I'll talk to you later. All right, bye. Have a good day.